Hello beautiful people, welcome to my channel. My name is Teresa and I am your cruise director on the Magical Mystery Tour. We're doing an old favourite, a little bit of controversial depending on where you are from. We are doing a nearly full face of Morphe today. Before we get to it, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, ring the notification bell to be alerted to any new uploads, and if you like this video at the end, please give it a big thumbs up. Let's get to it. Okay, so I have a heap of Morphe products in front of me. I don't have a full face of it. It's been sitting there. I've been going to go and get it extra stuff. But you know what? I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to go and buy their continuous setting mist. I do need to. I have been going to pull the trigger on that again in a long time. It's a great setting mist. Don't have it. Well, I do have a primer, but I have an oil-based primer, so this is really good underneath their old super heavy foundation. I also use that to dermaplane my face. So I've got comparable pricing. I've got the Morphe, the Makeup Bring On Bright illuminating primer on at the moment, and we are going to go in with their newest foundation, which is the Lightroom. What's it called? I can't read it. I don't have my glasses on. The Lightroom Extended Hydration Foundation. I'm not wearing anything at the moment. I have got the shade Light 05N. This is it. Hold it up to my face. From the bottom, hold it up to my face. You can see it looks like the perfect match. I can tell you straight away, it's a gorgeous foundation. What it does is two things. It oxidizes, and this is a neutral foundation, right? And all their foundations, even their cool tone ones, have a very, very yellow undertone. So this is it here. Going in with a brush to start with. And you can see it still doesn't look too bad. It is looking quite yellow immediately. Now, I do have the e.l.f. blue neutralizer, which I would normally now use in this, but I really wanted to show you what it was like without it. I colour matched in store when I got this, and I have worn it a few times. It is really a beautiful foundation, but again, I don't know if this is showing up yet. I'm looking quite yellow. Actually, if I do half this side, whilst can you see around here? You can see it's starting to go quite yellow. And I mean, it's real yellow. You've really got to blend this down your neck and dissipate it and diffuse down. I need another little bit for just the rest of my forehead. But look at that. I'm just going to... I've just turned off the smaller light in front of me. I'm yellow, which is a real shame. Like I said, to save that, I 100% will be using that e.l.f. blue stick to tone it down eventually. Not today. I am going to go to work this yellow, wearing a high neck. And it's a real shame because, yeah, as I said, the finish is gorgeous. It's just... oh my God, don't hold it by just the lid. It's so yellow, so yellow. I don't have a concealer at the moment, so I'm just going to put some concealer, and I don't have powder. So I'm going to conceal and powder my face, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I have set my face with a pink brightening powder to bring that yellow tone down. if you have the same problem, if you use this and you have the same problem with it becoming quite yellow, I would suggest doing the same. Okay, going in now with their micro brow pencil, standard spoolie on one end, a fine, super fine tip on the other. There's not much to say about this other than nearly every brand has their own micro brow pencils now. This is not a bad one in actual fact. Some of them can be quite a soft tip. This is quite a firm tip on it, which means you can get really good individual brush strokes should you wish. And I recently spoke about the expense of the Kosas Nano Pop Pencil and how you can get chemist brand ones just as good, cheaper. This is probably more like the texture of the Kosas in that it's a firmer tip. So this is a really good alternative, particularly if you are at Mecca and you want something similar. Gosh, my brows. They're a little bit out of control at the moment. They are due to be tinted for sure. And since I accidentally nearly shaved them all off, I've been a bit nervous about doing that to them again. But they're looking a little bit feral. They need something, that's for sure. But I will start with a tint and we will take it from there. Now, they also have going in now a brow glue. I have broken the brush that came with this. So I've just spent another spoolie working it in. Whoops. And pulling across. And then pushing up. This is quite good and super affordable as well. If I'm using a product like this, I'm sorry, I don't want to. I love ABH products, like love them. I love her pencil. But I'm not prepared to spend what her brow gel costs. If I'm going to spend that sort of money, I would rather something along these lines that really glues them down and locks them in. This just holds them really nicely in place. Okay, I don't have an individual bronzer. What I do have is one of their face palettes. So this comes with your different colour bronzers. This is I could have used that. That's a setting powder, but that again is slightly yellow, so that would have been no good. You've got a couple of different highlighters here and a couple of different blushes. Let's go in with, I am still pretty pale, so we'll start with the lightest. You can get these in, this would have to be light. Called 8F, 8 Fair, 8F. You can definitely get this in various colour stories of pale as all hell, which is me, and then medium and dark. It's quite reasonable for what it is. Great to travel with if you don't want to, for example, if you're not a super powder wearer but you do like to brighten, then take that with you. You've got your pretty much most of your face there, and then just your eyeshadow and lips. Going into the next darkest one, which is quite a difference. Just working that into my hand to take under my jawline. then back into the light again with a nose pencil. It's probably a bit warm to use as a contour, but we're just trying to disguise my little bump. Now for blush, I have two different ones. They're both the new ones, so I'm just trying to work out. I know this is super pigmented, so I might use this first and then go over it with this because it's definitely the more pigmented, but I just want to show you what they are like. So this is obviously a little squeeze tube, and I have used the smallest amount here. So, as I said, smallest amount, I've just spread it out. You can see it's spread out really well. And she gives a really pretty flush. It's a little bit of a glow to it. There's still product on there. But how pretty is that? Like, that's really, really lovely. Now this one is, what shade was this one? So that was the shade That Girl, which is that pale bubble gum pink. Going in now with the Huephoric Rush. This is a swirly gel type one. I've just messed that up. Like, this one is really pigmented. Just tapping in, I've just tapped in once, tapping off, I'll do it again, tap in, tap off, just tapping that over, and you can see immediately the difference in the depth. Like, the intensity in that immediately has come right back up. I've just swatched off this brush just to stamp out and blend a bit. That's just lifted a little bit of my base off on this side, but I have gone on over quite heavy powder today. The thing is, this is a bit too much blush for me. Don't ever be afraid to go back in. I'm just using my brush. Even though I've set with powder, I'm just using my brush and I'm just going over it just to settle it down. Just a little. And that's pulled that back a bit. And then what will happen is once I do a final set with setting spray, that will melt it back in more. Now going back into this palette now. By the way, both of those blushes are absolutely really good and super, super affordable. Going in now with I think we'll use the more pinkish shade in the highlighter. And that's helping blend that as well. Just through the forehead to help reflect light back. And just a little bit down the nose. So this highlight, you can just see, it's not too much. It can be built up, but the shade that I've picked is really blended in to that blush there and really made it melt in. Eyeshadow palettes, I've got a heap, like that, pretty much that whole cube there is Morphe, and I've got a few sitting around here. I was very, very, very heavily into them in the day just because it gave you bang for buck. And it was good to play around with. Now, I have the Bloom, and I've picked it very specifically because I wanted to use the newer blushes. So, we've got some really nice, we've got some neutrally, like this leans quite neutral up here. Then we come down, and even down here, this is more, like if we block that out, that centre 6 out, we've got a pretty safe neutral palette. Then we bring in pink with that. So if you want to play quite safely in a bit of a rosy pink, we are in spring after all. Let's go in with, we'll start with this one here. It's a pretty safe, soft shade. And just back and forth through the crease. And bringing it up and dispersing out. Gosh, remember, I mean, we still use it, the Continuous Mist. As I said, I don't have any at the moment. Is it the only continual misting setting spray? Like aerosol type spray in setting mists? I don't know. I can't remember. Now that, the Continuous Setting Mist is more about, if you really like that product, a lot of people hold that and the Urban Decay as their holy grails, right? They're both very, very different products. The Urban Decay is more about longevity. That is more a fixing spray and about absolute longevity. The Continuous Mist, Setting Mist, that is about melting your layers together. So they work really well together in that you can use that to do the Continuous Mist to really melt in, and then a fixing spray over the top to lock everything away. Going in now with this darker shade here. So we're definitely leaning more pink today. Just tucking. I'm not being too fussy with this at the moment. I'm just placing it down. As you can see, this pink, particularly this slightly darker one, may not be for everyone. You run the risk with certain shades of pink of looking like you've been slapped in the face, or the undertone of it may not look quite right. Now I'm going back into the first shade and blending this over the edge now, because this really needs to have that blend put with it, just because it's a bit of a weird. Okay, I think I'm going to go into this shade here now. It's got a bit more of a sort of pinkish undertone. We may need to go a bit darker, but I'm trying not to. I'm just going to tuck that initially right here, and then we'll diffuse it out to try and keep the intensity. We may have to go back in and rebuild that intensity up in a minute. But that's sort of the depth of where I want it. So now that I've got to here, same brush, just starting to pull forward into that socket area now, because that'll give us a bit of depth. Because I've got it mainly on this side, and you can see, as opposed to that, now I'm going to turn it over, because I want it more in that upper area than going on my mobile lid. Just, it's not even sort of windshield wiper motions, it's more of just a wriggle. Now back over to this side, and just ever so gently on the edge there. Up and out, same on this side. And once you get the hang of doing this, it essentially allows you to, it's a bit like pencil drawing. When you've got the right kind of eyeshadow, you can manipulate the shadow to move it about a lot easier. Now I've just gone back into that second shade, that lilac, and I'm just touching it. Nothing on that first brush. Okay, it is Shim Shim time. This one here I think I am going to use today because look at that. That is our outer part. She's really nice. That is a really, really nice shade. There is no way I am not going to use this pink. Now, there is that pink, which is a matte, which I'm just using ever so slightly there because I'm going to put this over the top now. And we are pink. On the other side. But it's not come out too insanely baby pink. It's got a little bit more depth to it. I'm just going back into this shimmer just to stamp for the blend. I think I'm going to go into this one for the inner corner. This has got a slight pink sheen to it. Might mix it in with that as well. And we'll leave that there. What are we going to do on the under eyes, people? What have I got here? Now, I'm going to hold all of these up. I've got a lot more over in my drawers. These are their sort of artist pencils. Now, they came in a multitude of shades. You could use them for lips or eyes. I have a brown, a teal, and a black that I use for my eyes. And then I have... these were my two favourite lip liners. This is Backseat Love and this is Frenchie. Why they discontinued these, I do not know. I've also got, which I normally use as my lips, and I am going to use it on my eyes, the shade Bubble, because it's a lilac-y pink. I think it was a big mistake for them to discontinue these. These were super affordable, $6, and absolutely incredible. Super long pencils. Maybe they just weren't affordable, but I'm telling you, if you knew, you knew with these, and I think a lot of people would stock up. I would certainly buy about 50 if they bought them back for a limited time, which they should do. But now what that's done is given me a really nice lilac inner eye. So under the eye now, let's go into this burgundy. This could make me look like between the liner on the inner rim and this could make me look like I've been crying, or that I've got conjunctivitis or pink eye, as some people call it. She's very pink, which is fine. It just means that under the eye we will go in with a combination of these two. So this is that real sort of pinky lilac, and then this is more of a neutralizer to tone it down. I've got quite a fluffy brush to do this. I may need to go back. Oh, Oh, yes. I need to even this out and then do a rethink because I'm not loving the colour under the eye. So let's get a flatter brush and go more into just that shade and really work it in. This will tone it down. Back in. You can see instead of just looking up, I'm really closing my eye so that I can get right into the lashes. I look like I have been crying my eyes out. Going in with a puff. Just going in with my under eye brightener. Just to soften up that line. Oh, that's all good, people. Nothing that a bit of mascara and more setting spray will not fix. Will not? Won't fix. You know what I mean. Now I am really concerned about that Frenchie under the eye. So I actually think that pink is not working. Just running my finger along there to soften that a bit. And I do have, this was called Park Street. This is more a flesh tone. That's bringing that down. That's what it needed. That's a bit better. It's still leaning on the pink side, but it's not so irritated eye. I'm going to go and set my face down, really give it a good spray, melt everything in, and then I'll be back with mascara and lips. Okay, I have the Morphe primer and mascara here. The primer is a blue primer. Why is the primer blue and not white, for example? White will make your mascara go grey. Blue gives it depth still. Mind you, remember when we used to wear electric blue mascara if you are of my vintage or older? And quite a few brands have brought back coloured mascara. Is it for our age? Probably not. Because as I look at this primer now and I go, oh, I'd love to do that. No, I wouldn't. I'm lying. Give that a minute to settle. I mean, it's bright, isn't it? It's all I can see. If I look down, all I can see is this little curtain of blue. You don't need to use the primer if you do not want to, but it will give you extra volume and help lengthen. This is the type of brush that I love. This is quite a great mascara, to be honest. It's actually one of my favourite mascaras that I can get from Mecca, if I'm going to be truthful about it. I love the new Charlotte Tilbury. NARS Climax I really like. I love how much that fans out your lashes and the volume and length that you get from that. But by geez, it's a messy mascara and it gives me the most insane panda eyes, and I end up with dots all along the top, like throughout the wear of the day. It breaks down terribly on me. But this is a super volumizing mascara. It does give length as well, but it almost makes you look like you are wearing a set of lashes. Look how thick they are. This is an older one now. Probably could have done with a couple of drops of eye drops in it. I'm not going to put anything on. No, I'm not going to put anything on my lower lashes because these are quite heavy on top, and I think that that's enough. Yeah, I do need to get another one of them. The primer's fine. That's starting to thicken up though. I might put some drops in and see how we go. Again, going back in with these, as I said, they're lip pencils. Gosh, I wish they would bring them back. They do have the newer ones, which is like the Soul Matte. I just don't think they're as good. I'm going in with the shade Frenchie today. It's more neutral. Bubble that I used in my eye would probably be the perfect one, but I want something a bit more neutral. All over my lips. I do love these. I think I've still got two more of Frenchie Bubble and Backseat Love. Backseat Love, I've got another couple still. Pried out of my cold dying hands. This is a lipstick in the shade Whipped. Again, still very neutral. I'm not even sure if that one is still available. Super creamy. And then I bought a set of the lipsticks yonks ago. And then lastly, going in, I also got the lip glosses when they came out. This is a lip gloss in the shade Tipsy. I do like that as well. That is it, my friends. I'm looking really pale under these lights. Hold on. I've just put a bit of warmth into that, which is funnily enough because I was complaining that I was looking too yellow with this foundation. The foundation does run too warm. I really wish, I mean, you can see it's a really pretty foundation. It wears all day. I have worn it numerous times. It wears all day. It's beautiful. I've had so many comments. Whenever I've had this in photos on Instagram, if I've worn it and not mentioned it, I get asked what I'm wearing. What foundation are you wearing? Your skin looks amazing. It is a gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous foundation. It just runs really yellow. So Hannah, if anyone follows Hannah English, she used and I've mentioned this before, she uses a cool tone, and even hers ran really yellow. It's really disappointing. As I said, this is a neutral tone, runs super yellow, like Muppet yellow. So you can get yourself something like this to pull the warmth out of. If you've got foundations that run too yellow, you can get yourself the e.l.f. corrector, and that will pull some of the warmth out of it. Alternatively, you just have to be aware of it. As I said, I wore a brightening powder over the top of my whole face, not just under my eyes, and that pulled it right back as well. So they're your options there. I mean, they're affordable. Don't know how much longer they will be around though, is the thing, if I am honest. We know what's happened. They've closed all their bricks and mortar store, online only. Will they remain successful as an online only platform? Possibly. I just would not be surprised if they are not here in 18 months time. But that is it for now. I'm really happy with how the face turned out in the end. I've got to go to work because I should be dressed and nearly out the door by now. I have faffed about today. Until next time, my loves, don't forget to tell your mum, tell your sister, tell your friends, come along, hang out. Tell me a bit about yourselves. Not just where you're from. Tell me something quirky. My quirky thing? I like cheese. If I could choose one food item to eat for the rest of my life, it would be cheese. Nothing but cheese. Every day. Cheese all day, every day. Love it. My stomach doesn't, but yeah. Also, I don't like chicken drumsticks. If I'm eating chicken, give me a wing over a drum. I really don't like drumsticks. Till next time, my loves. That was just went a little bit weird then. Until next time, bye.